welcome back to take 2 of the last episode of the Real Edit podcast. You would think that after 10 weeks of doing this, we would remember the fundamental steps needed to pull this podcast off, but some of us may have forgotten to put their AirPod in. Now listen, I've done it before, I get it, but I've grown since then.
Yeah.
You got cocky.
Yeah.
You've got cocky.
I went in strong and I've let the team down. We got halfway through the episode and...
We weren't
nearly
halfway. We were rambling through the intro.
Yeah, true, but still, I suddenly was like, oh, I can hear you out loud, you're not in my ear.
Just know that, just know that everything we're about to talk about in this intro, we've already done. So just go with it. Just pretend it's... Also, if you can hear a horrendous grating noise next to me, that's Luna with her antler, because there is no settling this dog today. So she is grinding her teeth on an antler next to me, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and Alexa's piping up. How lovely. What else could go wrong? Let me go get the Glade air fresheners. Just start. Yeah, why not? Anyway, let's kick off, Aimee. How was your week?
My week was good. It was... I'm trying to think what I need to say because I've already said it. So
I'll act surprised. Whatever you say, I'll be like,
yeah.
That's new information.
So the past week for me has been a behind the scenes project, which will be launching for me on Wednesday. So it'll be before this goes live. But yeah, it won't really kind of matter to anyone else, but it's kind of a big thing for me. So yeah, I've been doing like the boring behind the scenes things that come with launching something exciting. And that's pretty much been my whole week. I've eaten tons of chocolate. I've got one here and it even matches my top. So
as you should.
Whether I eat that through the episode, mind your business. And that's pretty much been it from me. I haven't really done much else. That's just been my prime focus. I've had a couple of collabs come in. Just been pouring on, really.
So exciting though.
Yeah.
And it's so beautifully done as well. Like when it goes live. No, it is. It's beautifully done. It's really exciting, and it's going to be so great for you. I can already tell. So I'm really excited for you. Is it definitely? Are we definitely going live on Wednesday?
If I don't talk myself out of it, yeah.
Watch this space.
Yeah. If it hasn't launched, then just it's coming.
Watch this space. Yeah, 100%.
Did I ask you how your week was?
No, not yet. Would you like to? I'll tell you if you want to know.
Okay.
First things first, to address the elephant in the room, the fringe is back.
The fringe is back.
She's back as of about 2 hours ago. So I had a fringe last year and I loved it, but it was so much effort. So I've got a bit more of a like wispy number going on now. And I think it's quite cute.
Yeah, we love her.
We'll see. Yeah, Amy's particularly smitten with the fringe.
Yeah.
But yes, that was fun. And then, to be honest with you, this is the first day in like 2 weeks that I have not felt exhausted. When I tell you that virus hit me like a train, I got over the actual feeling of pointless. The sore throat went, the sniffles went, the cough went, like all fine. I have felt literally, like, I can't even explain it. I just felt like my body had no fuel. My bones ached. I'd come up the stairs, I'd be out of breath. Like, I've just been shattered. Friday, I went back to PT. So what was that? Good Friday, yeah. Went back to PT. Said to Stephen, go easy on me. So we did like a gentle session. When I tell you I came home and accidentally fell asleep on the sofa for 3 hours, like I was absolutely shattered. Spent the weekend recovering. Went back this morning, had a really good session, and I actually feel really good today. So I'm excited because I feel like now I'm back, you know? But I think I've said about 3 separate times now, the bitch is back. And then I'm like, no, she's not. She was a bit premature. So yeah, so annoying. But we are back and I'm feeling much better. So that's that. And apart from that, I just can't really like wrap my head around the fact that it's nearly May, because May was a month I was looking forward to for a few different reasons for so long. And like it was so far in the distance and now it's here, which is just really bizarre to me. So I've got a few different like really nice things in the diary. I'm going to go and see one of my favourite singers. I've got a few trips into London for different reasons, like just really exciting stuff. So yeah, just can't really believe it's May nearly.
I know.
Like, that's just mad.
Crazy. I keep telling myself, I'm like, oh, I've only just quit my job, and I'm like, actually, May's going to be my 5th month full time.
Yeah. I keep telling, like, I know you turned 30 before me, and I don't know if you've started like planning celebrations and stuff yet. So when's your birthday? What month?
June.
I should know this. Okay. 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 So I've literally handed my 30th over to my 2 best friends.
I love that. For you.
I literally put them in a WhatsApp group and I said, "Here's the guest list. You're on there."
Hi.
And I said, "You know me. You do it." And Anna, one of the girls, was like, "Oh, I've been planning this since December." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm late. Fine." But yeah, so that's like creeping up. I haven't booked some holiday yet, but me and my friend are talking about doing that. It's just mental, isn't it? Like, we're nearly halfway through the year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What on earth?
It is crazy. Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
complete denial about turning 30, but that's fine.
Clearly, it's in June, and that's making me nervous. Are you going to do anything to mark it, or are you just going to keep it nice and quiet with like friends and family and just something low key?
I tend to do things separately, to be fair. Like, I've got a group of friends that I do something with, my boyfriend, my family. I'm not really one for like I'm not going to have a big party.
Yeah,
I would rather crawl in a hole than have like a big room focused on me.
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah, no, I'm not really focusing on it. But the fact it's literally in 7 weeks. Whoa.
Do you know what? It's not even for me. It's not even that like I couldn't stand being the centre of attention. I actually don't have enough friends to fill that party. Like, I have a small group of really good friends. I don't have enough people to fill a hall. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I've literally had to rely on my best friend to birth a new one for me. So,
chop chop. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
So that's it.
There you go. Did she get it done?
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Great job.
Yeah,
That's
a good friend. Up. Yeah, it's one more for the guest list.
Oh God. If I asked any of my friends, they'd be like, "Get lost." Absolutely not. That's so funny. Anyway, should we get on with the episode?
Yes.
The question is, have we introduced it yet? Or did we introduce it in our last recording?
I'll be honest, I think it was the last recording.
Okay.
So as this is the final episode of season 1, can you believe it? We've done 10 whole episodes. We thought we'd kind of just do like a chatty episode where we've gone quite into depth into like certain topics in previous episodes, whereas we thought we'd keep this one quite informative, one to kind of leave you with a lot of information with, whether you're like a newbie or experienced UGC creator. We've basically kind of gathered any questions that I've had in my DMs, Amy's had in hers, we've been asked through the podcast, or like we've seen searched online, just so we could kind of bring all the useful information together and go out with a bang.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a few more like chatty episodes recently, which I love, and I always love watching them back because they're always better than I remember them being, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I watch it and I'm like, oh, actually that was actually quite a good conversation. I don't know, like I just feel really good about them. But we wanted our last episode to be a little bit more, valuable, just so we could leave you with a little nugget of knowledge, of wisdom. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
You've got all the questions though, so I feel a little bit powerless.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you under the spotlight.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's just get straight into it because there's no theme here. It is literally just a list of questions. So I'm going to throw them at you. So what exactly is UGC and how is it different from influencer content?
So if you're an influencer, you will be making content about yourself and about whatever your passion or hobby or whatever it is that you're wanting to put out into the world. So it's a very like selfish, if you like, it's all about you. It's that's the content you create. If you're a UGC creator, you're creating content on behalf of brands, promoting their product or their services. It's not about you. And also the aim of an influencer is obviously to build a community because you want people to be bought into you as a person. Therefore, if they're doing that, they're probably following you and engaging with you. If you're a UGC creator, the idea is that we don't need to know or want to know who you are. You're just kind of a paid actress, if you like, or paid performer for the brand, and therefore there's no need to build a following necessarily. I feel like is that a good summary? I don't know.
Yeah, I would have said the exact same thing. Like an influencer, you use your personality and everything to influence your audience, whereas UGC is we're just users creating the content for the brand. But
Yeah.
the next
I
question
always
is
say
actually
I'm-
about following, which you've just covered. So,
Well, I haven't really. What's the question? Do you need a...
do you need a following?
Okay, what's your answer to this? Because my answer's changed.
So I actually would say yes and no. Initially, no, because I think to get started, absolutely not. You can start regardless of how many people follow you, because like we say, like it's not about you and your audience that is going to make you the money. But I would say obviously down the line, I think it was last episode you said, like, if you're putting out valuable content and you're not growing, I think that speaks for your content. So I think kind of down the line, following starts to matter more because it does kind of reflect on what you're putting out.
Yeah.
And also, like, obviously exposure wise, a following does help, especially now that there's so many creators. Yeah, I would say no initially, and then maybe down the line, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably agree. Sorry, I've got a real tickle in my throat and I just can't seem to shake it. I would say to begin with, no, because as we said, no one needs to know who you are. You are a paid actress, you're a service provider, no one needs to know who you are. However, in terms of visibility for these brands and these marketing managers and these agencies or whatever to find you, obviously the greater your presence on social media, the stronger your presence, the easier you are to find, the more visible you are to them. So that's on one hand. The other point of the question was exactly what you just said. If you're putting out a lot of content, or if you're putting out content and you haven't got a following, it suggests that your content doesn't provide value, doesn't convert, isn't resonating with an audience, therefore kind of suggests that maybe you're not an effective content creator and wouldn't be an effective UGC creator. Obviously, the point of UGC is to convert to sales. Bottom line is we're trying to sell something. We always are. So if you're putting out content trying to sell yourself and it's not working, and let's be honest, there's no topic you know more about than yourself, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And that's not me sitting here saying I smash it every time, because I definitely don't. But that would be my answer to that question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good question though, because I think I've really gone from like, no, absolutely not, you don't need any followers, to, okay. But what I would say is increasingly, I am seeing people use UGC as a stepping stone into influencing. And I don't know if obviously it'll be different for every person, but I do think some people use UGC as a way of hiding the fact that they want to go into influencing, because maybe they're just not brave enough. They don't have the confidence. They feel too cringe to just go for it in the first place. And if that's you, and if you're looking into doing UGC for that reason, sod that. It's so much work. Like just do what you want to do. Put the content out that you want to create. Like just like do it with your chest. If you're thinking of using it as a stepping stone, it's a really blooming, complex, time-consuming, hard work stepping stone. So save yourself the hassle would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, and on the topic of starting, what equipment do you actually need to start creating content professionally?
Phone, tripod, cheap. I'm talking £30 off Amazon. And equipment, are we counting apps as equipment or not really? Surely. Yeah, because I think you can't do a job without.
Yeah,
I would say those. Yeah, so phone, tripod, and I would say CapCut, the free version initially. When you can, upgrade to Pro, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And really, you're going to use natural lighting wherever possible. So lighting, I wouldn't say is necessary at the beginning. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I would actually, if we're being naive, if we don't say realistically you need a laptop or a computer or an iPad to get files across realistic, like it does make it a lot easier. It's probably doable without.
I mean, you could do that from your phone, like with Google Drive or WeTransfer.
Yeah, I guess you could.
So I suppose it's not a necessity,
but if I'm being,
it would help.
It's not a necessity.
Yeah.
But I would say I also think, and this might be really naive of me, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most people nowadays will have access to one of those things.
Yeah.
I appreciate not everyone does, but I think a lot of people would. So those three things, and then the laptop, iPad would be really blooming beneficial, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say the exact same. I don't think lighting isn't necessary in the beginning because, like you say, you can just use daylight. The only thing I wish I invested in sooner was a better quality microphone, which you don't need at the beginning. You can get used to kind of maybe using a cheaper one. But I had one, I think it was from Amazon, which did the job absolutely fine. Like, I'd never had any complaints about that microphone. However, now that I've upgraded to this one, the comparison is insane. So I would say, like, if you are doing a lot of ad or voiceover or anything that does involve you speaking, I would say a microphone. But that doesn't necessarily have to be at the beginning.
That's so interesting. I don't use a microphone for any of my voiceovers, for any of my videos.
Really?
And I don't think you need it. Yeah, I'm just going to disagree with you. I don't think you need that. But that's why it's so interesting. Is like you talk to different people. Have you ever looked at any of my ads and thought the audio is not?
No, I thought you used a microphone.
No, never. And I definitely am going to try it.
Now I've wasted my money.
But no, you haven't wasted it. But like, it's just interesting. You'll ask different people, and this is why we're doing this, right? Because some people might say you need a microphone. And how much did these cost? These were 100 and something, weren't they? The DJI ones that we've got.
So, yeah.
They were quite expensive. Point being. So I would straight away say to a creator, don't bother.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even time to
get
the Amazon ones. Like, I don't think you need a microphone. I don't even think you need a microphone, full stop. Like,
fair.
But I do also think your audio is always really crisp. It's so interesting, isn't it? I love that.
Having the little prop, to be fair, so.
Oh, 100%. There's no better feeling. Hi, guys. Okay, next question. I'm enjoying this.
Right.
That was such an icky
now
little
we're
clap.
going into I think it was the last recording that we said you were a walking egg. I don't think that was in this re-recorded.
Yeah, and you were like, you actually are? I was like, oh, cheers. Okay, thanks.
No, you're not.
There's no proof of
I'm
that,
only joking. Right, and now we're going into more like work that we've done.
Okay.
So have you ever regretted saying yes to a project, and what did it teach you? I haven't. I don't think. That I can think of. But I know one that you have done recently, I would say.
And it's just a slightly more complex question to answer because you learn something from everything. And I learnt a lesson from that collab.
Yeah.
So can I honestly say with my whole heart that I regret it? No. But I will tell the story anyway because I'm sensing from the look in your eyes that you want me to, so I'm going to tell it. I recently worked with, or I got an inbound from a brand that was selling, in fact, I'll keep it vague. They were selling skincare.
Yeah.
And for a number of reasons, I felt in my gut that something was off. And I said to Aimee, why is it that there's nothing, I can't put my finger on what's wrong here, but something's off.
Yeah.
And everyone that I spoke to was kind of like, but there's nothing.
Yeah. We went through it together wrong. And was like, there's nothing.
And I just had this gut feeling. So
your gut is always right.
What I did was, it was right. So essentially what I did was I changed my contract. And I said, I just had this gut feeling that this brand was gonna, I just had a gut feeling I was being scammed. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do here? How am I going to protect myself? So I changed my contract and I said in the contract that they pay 50% upfront. Because then I figured, bare minimum, I would get half of the money. So I did that and they paid me straight away. And it wasn't a small amount of money. It was a relatively large chunk of money. So I thought, okay. And then the products turned up and I thought, like, okay, I still have this weird feeling. Anyway, did the collab and sent off 2 ads with a couple of extra hooks and got the feedback was glowing. They wanted the raw footage as well. Well, I said, that's going to cost you this much. Okay, let's just hang fire for a bit. We're working with a budget, fine. Really, really happy. I made the point of saying to them, look, the script you've given me is really long. It's over a minute. People aren't going to stay on the video for that long. Do you want me to edit it down? No. I raised a few things. Do you want me to do this? I have a feeling this isn't going to work. No, they were very clear. As it is, very happy. Fine. I then proceed to see this video chopped up into very small chunks and posted on their TikTok as short snippets that all added up to the whole video, but were standalone clips. So I reached out straight away and said to them, that's really going to hurt the analytics. If you need any help with strategy, let me know. But you can already see the numbers are going down, the views are going down per clip, because that's not how the algorithm works on TikTok. Ghosted, didn't hear a thing. Okay, fine. Invoice goes in, don't hear anything for the remaining 50%. Anyway, I ended up having to chase this payment. They eventually came back and said, they was one person, I'm reluctant to pay because performance has been so poor. And as you can imagine, if you know anything about me from this podcast, it's that Aimee doesn't settle for that. That's not going to happen. So Aimee went back with a very professional but very clear response that said, you signed a contract, I provided the service, the service has been completed. And I basically went back and said, I pointed that issue out to you here, I've pointed that issue out to you here, you haven't taken me up on that. And basically this person just was very rude and blunt and basically tried to make me feel like rubbish for this piece of content that he 10 seconds ago really loved. Oh, it's a he, sorry. Whoops. 10 seconds ago, they really loved. Anyway, then after another strongly worded message back, I got this response that basically said, I'm really sorry, this isn't like me. I'm really struggling financially. The business is struggling. And just 180'd it and basically said, it's not you. But I just thought it was so cruel of them to make the creator feel like it was their problem or responsibility, especially when I got above and beyond to make sure that the assets performed in the way that I would want them to and the way I planned to.
And the content was beautiful. Let's just add that in here. It was a beautiful video, and the way that it was cut down.
Way too long, but
still. The way it was cut down was just completely, it wasn't even chopped up exactly. It was some clips had the ending of that, then that was the beginning of that. It was all done very messily. So it was nothing on you in any shape or form.
And the truth of the matter is, I know that. I'm very comfortable with the content that I make, with the work that I do. But if I was a newer creator or someone with less self-confidence, that would have been a horrible hit. I just knew. And I literally, it's all in writing. I've got the whole chain of messages of me saying, that's not a good idea. That's not going to work. We need to cut this down. I'm very clear that I knew what I was doing. Yeah. And I just felt that if it had been anyone else or someone else that wasn't so secure in what they were doing, that would have really knocked someone's confidence. And I just thought it was really cruel. So I'm yet to receive the other half of the payment, but I would say,
thank God you changed your contract.
Thank God. Yeah. Follow your gut.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to change your contract or change. You're running your business. It's your rules. Change your rules if you need to. Rules are made to be broken / rewritten. And what else would I say about it? Trust your judgment, maybe. Because that content was good and the things I pointed out were valid and ended up biting them in the arse. And it's not on me. I did what I could do. So a long story, but hopefully insightful, hopefully interesting, hopefully a bit helpful.
Yeah.
But maybe the original point was trust your gut.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And
the fact your gut was off from the beginning, so should have just listened.
It was. I mean, I still got half the payment. I will get the other half, 100%. And he has said that to me. He has come back and said, I will get you the money as soon as I can. Yeah. We're working on it.
Yeah.
But, so do I regret it? 50-50. Learn a lot from it. Yeah. And hopefully someone else can learn something from it too. Now,
Yeah, no, totally get that. On the subject of payment, what are signs that a brand might be trying to underpay you?
That they give you a number that's too small. That they suggest that raw footage and you not having to do the editing is a weight off your shoulders. Roughly translated to, give us all your raw footage, we'll make 1 billion videos out of it and only pay you for one. A sign they're trying to underpay you. I don't think it's necessarily a single sign. I think you can just gauge when you're talking to someone whether or not they really appreciate the value of what your services bring. And do they really understand the potential power of UGC? And therefore, are the conversations they're having with you about pricing reflective of that? No, well, they will be reflective of that. You'll just get a gauge where you think you have not got a clue.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
is going to be as simple as a fact. Like, they are going to offer you a number that's going to be like, that's not
Yeah.
enough. And like you say, it'll be like the classic conversation of, oh, well, you don't have to do a lot of work. It's a really easy project. Or we've got other creators willing to work for this price.
Yeah.
Like, they probably haven't if it's not a fair price.
Also let them.
Or if they have, then fine.
Because I'd rather another day off than you pay me 100 quid for a video that after tax pays me 80.
Yeah.
When another brand's going to pay me 300, 400, 500 pounds for that bit. Like,
yeah.
It's not happening.
No, I do think that's just going to be one of those things that you'll be able to tell kind of straight up from what they're offering. And like if they're trying to sneak things in, like if they want full ad usage and they're like, oh, we don't normally pay for this.
Yeah, if they sneak something into the contract, that is a big old red flag to me. I appreciate it can be an accident. If they try and sneak it in straight away, I'm on high alert.
Yeah.
Because I just think, are you? Yeah. The other thing I was going to say was when they suggest that the fee is lower because of the simplicity of the brief. As I've said before, you can't buy a house for less than this. I don't care how many windows it's got. I don't care how many rooms it's got. It is a house. Bare minimum, you will pay this for the asset. You know, like, oh, no, it's so simple. We're only going to pay. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's often worded as well. I've had it a few times where they say, oh, we're only willing to pay this price because we want to see how it performs first.
Yeah, lovely. I'm only willing to give you 50 quid for this house. I want to live in it for a bit. See how it feels.
And then move
I'm
out.
only going to pay you half of the car value because I'm going to drive it for a bit. No, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not how life works.
No.
Also, you came to me.
But they're always worded in that kind of way, aren't they?
You came to me for me to do something for you. You do not dictate how much you pay me. Here's my fee. If you can't afford it, that's different. You can go elsewhere. But I really feel so strongly about payment. I'm so passionate about it. Like, I'm so wary of newer creators being ripped off. Like, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, quick move on. Haven't got my trip mindful blend. Quick, I need to take some tablets.
Take some deep breaths.
Also, in all seriousness, I'm on like 9% battery. That's how much battery I've used doing the 2 takes.
Oh, God.
So go.
Okay. Speaking of contracts, do you need them for UGC? What should be in them? And do you need them for gifted collabs?
Yes and yes. What should be in them, we could do a whole episode on. What should be in them, what shouldn't be in them. You want to make sure that your fee is in there. You want to make sure that the exact deliverables and the exact usage rights and like breakdown of how it's going to be used is in there. You want to make sure exclusivity is either covered if that's something you've agreed or not covered if it's not. You want to talk about, oh my God, there's so much. Ownership of content, repurposing. What's the indemnification?
Yeah, indemnification is always the first thing that I look for. Purely because I've seen like some horror stories of that has like people haven't been covered by that and then something's happened to the brand and then the creator's been sued for the content that they've created for that brand.
Yeah.
That I think is a really big one. But yeah, I think like you say, like copyright, usage of the content, like these are all things that people can like twist and try and get away with. One thing that I will say is that's like a new thing, obviously with so much AI going around, is like copying and pasting a contract into ChatGPT. And I've started to do this now where I copy and paste the whole thing and I say, I'm the creator in this position. Are there any red flags in this for me? And I had one recently and it was like, do not sign this contract if you are the creator because there's this red flag, this red flag, this red flag. They want to do this with your content. Like,
that's such an interesting
print.
prompt. I put it into ChatGPT and say, give me the bullet points. If it's like a really, especially if it's a legal jargon one, which I cannot stand, into ChatGPT, what the highlights. But that's so interesting. I love that. That's such a good
If you say, I'm the one signing on behalf of this person, does this cover me or does it work against me? Please point out any red flags. Wow. It will literally tell you like what the red flag is, what this could mean for you, whether you should sign it or not.
Absolutely love that. That is a golden nugget.
So I do that with every contract.
That's so good.
And even like for gifted collaborations, you need a contract in place for the same things because your content's going to be used in the same way.
Yeah, I still want to know the
whether
usage.
There's a payment happening or not.
Yeah, agreed. Also, they will often say, "Oh, it's gifted. We're only going to put it we're only going to post it organically." If you haven't got a contract in place and you then see it running as an ad because it's performing really well, You've got nothing to fall back on apart from an email chain, which they do say is legally binding, but what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
So I completely agree. Or just get everything down in writing, signed by both parties. And if someone doesn't want to sign something, that's a red flag in itself. So maybe don't work with them.
Yeah. I feel like maybe in season 2 we can do a whole episode on contracts, to be honest,
because that's
quite an in-depth topic, and there's so much that needs to be spoken about. But yeah, there's a lot of things that
I completely agree. That'll be a really good one to cover included.
Actually. Yeah. Have you ever wanted to quit?
Never. I've had bad days. And when I say a bad day, I'm like, just can't get that video or whatever. I just can't get it. Yeah. It's not popping like I want it to. But no, I've never wanted to quit. No.
Yeah. No, me neither.
Probably not a helpful answer to whoever asked that, but
no,
but also
I feel like that answers in itself, doesn't it? Like it, although there are like days that aren't as good as others, like it's still something, like it's a dream life almost for me anyway.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good. What do they say? It's a bad day, not a bad life. But also, I think that UGC isn't going to be for everyone, and so if you are thinking you want to quit, UGC, just because it looks great online, the reality of it, once you actually get your feet in the door and start, get your foot in the door, and actually start working with brands and start doing the work and making the content and signing the contracts and doing the admin, it's not going to be for not everyone's going to love it. So if you're thinking that, maybe it's just not your thing, and you'll find your thing elsewhere. So it's not a bad thing. But for me personally, no, I really love it, and I love the life it gives me, and I just love it.
Yeah, me too. I think that question would only really come up is there is a lot more work to UGC than what people think.
Yeah.
So I think 100%. People go into it thinking, oh, it's fun, I get products, I get to work with brands, blah, blah, blah. They don't see half of what goes on behind the scenes, like work-wise. So I think that would be the only reason that someone would want to quit. Like you say, it's just not for them. But yeah, simple answer of no from me.
Yeah. Agreed.
Next question. What are some underrated tools or apps that help you run your business?
ChatGPT, because sorry. I saw a TikTok the other day. I was like, can we just collectively agree that it is ChatGPT? GBT. It's so long I thought it was. I'm going to go completely off piste here and say, stop, obviously I use lots of different planning tools and apps and whatever, but I'm just going to say I've got a whiteboard on my wall in the kitchen, and I've got a calendar, like a big a monthly planner, handwriting, highlighters, deadlines, whatever. I could not do my job without it, because I've said before, undiagnosed ADHD, get overwhelmed, get anxious, a very visual person. Having that there, game changing. And I'm talking for everything, gym appointments, friends, things, everything. It's all on there, and I couldn't live without it. So whatever happened to good old pen and paper, that would be my honest answer. I can't shed any light on anything else. I would say though, the Social Plot Meg does a social media management Notion template. And for my social media management clients, it is fantastic. And the other thing I would say is the Productivity Method digital planner I do really like, but I couldn't do my job without my whiteboard and my planner. Yeah. Is my honest answer. What about you?
Yeah, I was going to say Notion actually, because I'm new to that though. I haven't quite nailed it.
Oh, I haven't nailed it.
But I know that is going to be something that really benefits me in my project that's coming up. So I would say maybe like Notion. Yeah. I'm the same as you, to be honest. Like I do love my Productivity Method planner, like in terms of like structuring my day. But in terms of like to-do lists, I literally have it's like the smallest, cheapest little to-do list thing that I got from Sainsbury's, and it's got a little circle that you tick off once you've done it. Oh, piece of paper. Yeah.
Yeah, again. Yeah.
And I've got a Google Calendar in my phone that I had spent so much time on, like colour coding, like what each thing means. I do look at it. I don't use it for work.
No.
I just look to see if I'm free that day. I can't use like complex digital things. I'm the same as you, like classic
I just don't find it helpful
in front of me.
I spend more time colour coding it and making it look pretty than actually doing the tasks on it. So I just, and I am really visual, but I'd much rather have it to tick off, to highlight. That I find that really helpful. So Yeah, again, not the most valuable answer, but I would say just stop trying to overcomplicate it. Like a digital planner, that there's always going to be something new to buy online. It's not going to change your life. Like it might. Everyone works differently. It's not going to change everyone's life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree.
If anyone's just noticed a bit of a jump in the lighting, maybe my phone died, and maybe we had to take a little pause there whilst I got some juice in the old phone.
But that's okay, because we brainstormed about the next season.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we worked. Oh, yeah, we worked. We filled our time efficiently. But yeah, if you're wondering why the lighting's changed, we have just had a little 20 minute.
I think I might have changed
half-hour
position,
interval.
but
it's fine. It's fine. Anyway,
I can't remember what question we were on.
I think we got to. We did the contracts.
Have you ever wanted to quit?
We had that. Okay.
Let's
jump straight back into
with the fear of being cringe.
Oh, I mean, can I just be really honest? Like, I love the life I live, and I know a lot of people would love to live this life. The cost of it is sometimes people cringe at your videos. I'm willing to pay it, like, it's fine. But also, my favourite quote in the whole wide world is, in order to offend me, I must first respect your opinion. And none of the people whose opinion matters to me are cringing at my content. They're only supporting it. The other one is, I've never been disliked by someone who I'd want to change places with. Point being, if you're cringing at me, you're probably not my kind of person anyway. So like, you do you, I'll do me, happy days. You know, that's how I deal with it. I just don't really care. But maybe, I think a big part of that has come with getting older. I remember at 27, my whole world changed, my whole perception changed, where I was just like, I just don't care what anyone thinks about me. I'm a really good person. I'm a nice person. X, Y, Z. I'm happy. Like, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I've kind of adapted the let them theory.
Everyone's talking about this right now.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I've got my microphone on now. We're having a shocker. But do you know what? You gotta laugh.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna cry? Anyway, what were we talking about? The let them theory. We were talking about the let them theory.
Yeah, I'm just fully in that theory now. Like, if they want to judge me, let them. Like, it doesn't affect my day.
Also, like, if I cringe you out, there's one of two things happening. If I cringe you out, you're watching my content to laugh at me, in which case I can't fix what's going on with you. That's yours to figure out. Like, I couldn't care less. Or you don't realise there's an unfollow button, in which case I'm telling you now, there's an unfollow button, just unfollow it. Like, don't put yourself through the discomfort of having to cringe at me. It's okay. You don't have to watch me dance on my TikTok. Like, you can unfollow me. You can block me. Me. No problem. Like, I don't mind. So just let them move it on. I think the let them theory and the way what it looks like in UGC, it would actually be a really interesting podcast episode in itself. Maybe we note that one down.
We've already got 2 episodes, see, in the thing. We've got contracts and there we go. Okay,
We're
right.
flying.
Do you think the UGC space is too saturated, and is there still room for new creators?
That's like saying, is the influencer market too saturated? Is it saturated? Yeah, loads of people. But is it too saturated? No, because there's so many brands in the world, and there's so many businesses and service providers who need UGC. And let's be honest, you can't use the same UGC creator for every video or it loses its effectiveness. And, you know, so many brands aren't even using UGC yet. We haven't even tapped into... No, it's not too saturated. I don't think so at all. There's room for new creators. There's room for more creators. Does it make our lives more difficult? Yeah, we've got more competitors. But, like, welcome to the world.
I did actually see a TikTok the other day, and it was actually a really, like, crazy number. And I think it was something like there's, like, a certain number of million UGC creators out there now, which is mad.
Luna's not happy about it. She's just not our sister.
So yeah, I agree. I don't think it's too saturated. I think like you say, like, there's equal amount of brands and there's even more consumers. So like, we're living in like this life now where we're so like focused on things online. We're spending our money. We're purchasing things. Like, we're so influenced by what we see on social media. Like, there's all like we're spending
100%.
so much more money online And I just think it's just gonna constantly go in a cycle of growing. And with that, obviously there's space for UGC promotions. So
I would also say, you know, is UGC too saturated? Is there room for more people? UGC is changing. As we said last week, as we said before, UGC looks different now to how it looked 2 years ago when we started. UGC as a term, its definition will change as the years go on. And so, and the way we use it and what it looks like, and therefore, like, we can't ever really answer this question. It will just evolve, and more, like, look at influencing 10, 15 years ago versus what it is now. The opportunities that comes with it, the different ways it can be tapped into. Like, it's just it's going to evolve, it's going to change, and we're going to have to evolve and change with it. And there will always be room for more people, because it will always be moving and evolving. And also, let's not forget that, you know, in the same way as you have influencers, you know, you will have these like younger, let's talk about influencers, for example. You'll have these younger creators who will influence up until the point that maybe, let's say, they have children. Some people will carry on and become kind of family influencers. Some people will say, I'm changing, I'm in a different season of my life now. There will always be turnover. So this is gonna change, and I don't think it's too saturated. I think it's only just getting started, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think you're so right. Like, with the thing that some people are going to stop, which then makes room for more. And also, have you seen that in schools now, you know, like when they say, like, what do you want to be when you're older? Children are saying influencers.
Yeah, I know. That is quite scary. I could talk about that for a long time. Because what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean when you say you want to be an influencer? Like, what's their understanding of what that means, and therefore what are their motivations behind wanting to do it? I just think it's an interesting conversation, and I won't know unless I sat down with those children and asked them, but like, I would just be really curious to understand what they mean.
Do you see yourself doing UGC or content creation forever, or is this a stepping stone in your career?
Ooh, that's a really good question. As I said, UGC is going to evolve. Therefore, in its current state, like, do I think I will be doing UGC in its current state forever? No, because I think UGC is going to change and going to evolve, and I'm going to evolve with it. Can I see it being a long-term business for me? Yes. Are there other things I would like to do as well? Absolutely. And would I be able to balance the two? Unlikely. So my initial plan when I was at university was to do a doctorate in clinical psychology and to be a psychologist. And I would still very much like to do that. But it will take further study, and it will take money, and I will then go, it will be a career, and it will be something I do when I'm slightly older, I think. So that's not, yes, I could do this forever, and I think I will do it for a long time. I don't know what the future holds, but there are certainly other things I would like to do. So for me, it's kind of like, I don't really know. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it evolves. And what I do think as well is it's such a great job to be able to work around any lifestyle. You know, if you have a partner who maybe you have to be quite flexible around because of their job and maybe how they work, or if you have children, therefore you have to be flexible around taking care of them and school hours or whatever. Like, so many different ways in which this job can support you and can be really flexible for you. So I think it definitely could be long term. I just don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know what I'm doing long term. So I guess we'll see.
My answer would genuinely be the exact same as yours. I mean, I don't want to be a psychologist. I'd love to be a psychologist, but I didn't do it at uni or anything. But no, I think, obviously, like you say, it just depends where life goes. Like, will I have children? Will that change life? I don't know. Like, I genuinely could not tell you what life looks like in 5 years. I'm just going to say that I'm enjoying it for now. And as it evolves, I will evolve with it. Whether we stay
also, in all seriousness, if I meet a gorgeous man who says, "Don't worry about the bills, I've got you," this is going to change. I will be at the health club. Like, I will be in the spa. But I do love, I mean, even joking about that, wouldn't that be great where you could just do something that you loved, like UGC, without any pressure on the money it brings in? You could just do it because you love it. Stunning. Lovely. Let's fingers crossed for that. Let's fingers crossed for that. And if you know him, if anyone knows him, do tag him in the comments for me. I'll give him a call.
What are brands looking for in creators right now?
What are brands looking for in creators right now, as opposed to in general? Right now, people who'd like to do affiliate schemes, but I would say, I would say they are looking for high quality content,
I was going to say high quality, yeah.
and they're looking for like relatability, authenticity. I think increasingly, as we've said before, we're moving away from this sales pitch. I think they're looking for people who can create really high content. Really high quality content. Really high content. Hi guys, welcome. And who can do it whilst with this real authenticity and relatability to it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't think that was so important 2 years ago. If you could do a big hook and you could read the script, I think you are more likely to get it. Whereas nowadays, I think it's more. I also think, this is interesting actually, I'm increasingly seeing brands do little like background checks on their creators to make sure that they're aligned. So for example, doing background checks on their socials to make sure they're not. So for example, if we have Twitter where you can put out your opinions, or your LinkedIn, vetting that first, which I love because it's just really important, I think, to make sure that brands, I think essentially where UGC is becoming a little bit like influencing for some creators, they're wanting to make sure that they're not attaching themselves to anyone who doesn't represent the core values of their brand. So I'm seeing that a little bit more.
I think that's good.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah. I actually haven't noticed that, but that's really interesting.
Yeah, just this week I had a brand basically say that they wanted to vet me across the platform. So then we went through a process where they had access to everything and could see and basically could background check everything. And obviously it came back fine because I'm very vanilla on my socials. But don't let them read my journal. Anyway, moving on then.
What advice would you give yourself if you started this journey again?
Should I repeat all the answers that I said to you earlier?
Yes.
Or? Okay. No, I'm not good yet. I basically proceeded to tell Aimee all of the life lessons that I would like to go back and tell myself so I don't have to make those mistakes.
They weren't UGC related.
They were not UGC related. Sorry, can you just repeat the question?
What advice would you give to your past self before you started this journey?
Again, I really struggle with this because my initial reaction is to say do it sooner, do it. Don't be scared, just do it. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't actually hesitate for that long. But also, I understand why I didn't, and it was quite a complex background issue. Not issue. Let me reword this. But also, I understand why I didn't, because there was a lot going on in the background that impacted it. So I understand why 2023 Aimee made the decisions that she did. I guess I would say push yourself sooner. Yeah. And by that I mean push yourself on your socials and get your name out there as much as possible, as soon as possible, because you are 2 years ahead of the game. And therefore you have this 2-year window now to get as far ahead as you can to put yourself in the strongest position. And I'm happy with the position I'm in now, and I'm happy with what I've done with my time. But if I could go back, I would certainly push harder and I would do more. That's the only thing I can really think of, if I'm honest. Yeah. What about you?
I think for me would kind of be the same thing, except I didn't push myself enough. And I really wish I had. Because we started at the same time, and I think our journeys have been completely different. Obviously you left your job for various reasons, and had then obviously that full-time opportunity from much earlier on. And I do think that has reflected in both of our journeys. If you compare the two. Well,
of course, because I had full-time work hours to dedicate to
and I
this,
think,
and you didn't. You were balancing a whole job.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of where I'm like, I wish I did prioritise it that little bit more. Like, even just because I was in a job, like I was happy in my job, like to start with, and it was a priority to me to like obviously get the experience, and like I was like living in the moment, whatever. But I really let UGC slip with that. And what I wish I'd done is like in my spare time, like in my weekends, they say, what is that? They say like if you are willing to work like 37 hours towards someone else's dream, like you can wake up an extra hour to dedicate it to yours.
To work towards yours.
And I kind of wish I did that. Like spending an hour after work, like just posting on socials. Like I think there was a period last year where I didn't post for like 4 months or something stupid, which we both know really negatively reflects on your business, because I'm not then exposed to opportunities. And like I did have a big dip in UGC work. I had bits coming in here and there, but it was off of old social media content that I'd posted. Like I wasn't getting any of this new stuff out. I wasn't showing what I can do. So I think I limited myself. But I mean, it was kind of out of my control because my other job was so full on. And that was a very creative job. It was very full on. So I was like, I didn't really have a lot left. So like,
oh my gosh,
there was reasons why it didn't.
Yeah.
Why I didn't. But also I kind of wish now, obviously looking back, I'm like, I really regret not doing that. So I would say the same thing. I just think I'm pushing myself that little bit hard, just kind of believing in myself. Oh my God. Just like believing in like that this is my dream and I need to put time towards it rather than just prioritising what's paying the bills.
But I will say in your defence, especially near the end there, as was I when I was at work, you had no capacity.
Yeah.
And when we talk about burnout and the importance of protecting yourself against that, there was no way you could have pushed any harder than you were pushing. And so I appreciate that on paper, it would have been great if you could have got up an hour earlier and done this or done it the weekends, absolutely. But on a human level, that just wasn't
I was running
within
on fumes.
that wasn't within the realm of possibility. So I get what you're saying, but I also just think like you're sounding a little bit harsh on yourself.
Yeah.
You're sounding too harsh on yourself.
Yeah, no.
But you know what I mean? Like, because I remember you for those last few months.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't happening.
Yeah. Because I do wonder, I'm just like, if I had maybe not been so committed into my other job or whatever, and I had committed to myself more, like where would I be? You know? Like I wonder how different it would look.
I wonder what would happen if I'd gone back for a second gymnastics class when I was 6. You know, maybe I'd be flipping down the Olympics now, but we'll never know because I didn't. Like, what's the point?
True.
Also, let's be honest, that was never going to happen. But I hated it. But I do understand your point. But I guess for anyone who also doesn't know what you previously did, were you a social media manager? What was your title?
My title didn't really reflect what I did. My title was marketing coordinator, but I was social media manager, events manager, and a marketing coordinator.
And the point being, like, we all know how much time it takes to run your own social account, and it's so difficult to do it when you're doing UGC
this was
videos
for a
and stuff like that, and
company
working
as
with
well,
brands.
so it was like a lot of
Exactly. So you had no creativity left in the bank. Like,
no,
I can't even imagine how you did that. So it just not as easy as like get up an hour earlier and work your dream. I get it, but it was a lot for you. Wasn't it?
I'd say that was probably the only advice really, because I think like you said earlier, like you kind of learn from everything that you've done. So I don't think there's anything else that I kind of would give myself advice on. I feel like we've kind of had each other the whole way through to give each other advice the whole way along. So I don't know. I don't think I've really got anything else that I would say for that one.
How many questions have we got left? Do we still have more?
No, so there's one question left. And it is kind of the same as what we've just answered, and that is what are some mistakes that you've made that others could avoid?
I'm just going to go, I'm not even going to go UGC specific. This one is for anyone who is wanting to do UGC but isn't sure or is hesitant to take the leap. If we're talking about mistakes that we made, I wanted to work in content in some capacity from the age of like 14. And that changed over the years in terms of what I wanted to do. At one point I wanted to be a beauty YouTuber, and at another point I wanted to be a blogger, and at another point I wanted to whatever. But I guess I just never found time for it. It wasn't important enough. It was, oh, I'll do it one day. One day that dream will come true.
Yeah.
But I never actually like put pen to paper or made an action plan as to how to do it. And so I guess the failure or the mistake I made was spending a single second in a job or an environment that didn't serve me, didn't make me better, that didn't push me further towards my dreams, and was actually making peace with a mistake I made was making peace with the idea that actually that thing I wanted to do, well, we're just not going to do it because, you know, it doesn't make money, or it's just not, it's not impressive enough, it's not important enough. I'm doing this now, so I'm not going to, like, no. If there's something you love, and if you've loved it since you were 14, like take the hint.
Yeah.
Like, your body and your heart and your soul and your brain are telling you, like, this is what we want to do. Do it. Find a way to do it.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity, just start.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I would say is not starting for fear of doing it imperfectly.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just give it a go. You will naturally get better. And as I said before, if your first bit of content doesn't make you cringe, that means you haven't improved and you're not growing.
Yeah.
So you better hope that you watch your first video back and quiver.
Yeah.
Because it's so terrible, because you've
Yeah.
grown so much,
Yeah.
you know? So that would be my answer, which I know is a bit hippy dippy, but that's mine.
No, I love that. I would kind of say the same to you. I think we're literally the same person, because I also started a beauty blog when I was like 15 or something like that.
You had a proper like Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah, I had an Instagram. I had like a blog page where I did like blog posts and like
Yeah.
took photos of products
Me
and
too.
reviewed them and all sorts.
Me too.
It's actually still live, but no one's ever going to see that.
Is it? Mine's not. Mine's long gone.
Yeah, no, mine is still live. Just because I want it there just for the memes. No one's ever going to see it, so it's fine.
Okay. Can you show me it after?
Yes,
Can I see it?
yes, you can.
Yeah.
And like even then, like I knew that was what I wanted to do. In some capacity, and I think I kind of obviously learnt from that I didn't necessarily want to do like the writing part. It was more the creating side that I enjoyed more. But again, like I just got sucked into like needing the stereotypical, like I need a proper job to pay my bills, and like creating content is not a proper job, when actually it is now. Like,
Yeah.
and had I have just taken
Also, what is a proper job?
exactly.
What does
So
that
like
mean?
if I wasn't in an office and unhappy, then I wasn't working a proper job, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Everything works out as it's supposed
Yeah.
to, but I do think one mistake that I made, I think, was the same as you, kind of putting that on the side burner and
Yeah.
not like putting my all to it.
It was almost like, even in my like early 20s, it was like I made peace with the fact that the thing I wanted
Yeah.
to do, I was just never going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point, like, no, when you're in your 70s, 80s and you say, do you know what, I think it's time we give up
Yeah.
on that dream of becoming a professional snowboarder, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, you've got some reasons
Yeah.
to lean that way. But, you know, at 23 or whatever I was, saying, no, we're gonna put that dream to bed,
Yeah.
because we're going to do this instead, and whatever it is, what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not good enough.
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's
I
exactly what I
deserve
did.
better. And so,
Yeah. I archived all
yeah,
my
I
posts.
just think,
And I was like, oh,
yeah.
well, that's it. We'll take the YouTube videos down, hide the Instagram
Yeah.
posts, like no one needs to see that. And like, I'm going to go and work in an office. And then I got bored in an office and then circled back to doing the creating content that I wanted to do in the first place. So I guess the
Yeah.
mistake is like just not, it is the same thing. Like, just listen to your gut. Like, you obviously want to do it for a reason.
Yeah. And didn't they say that you want it so bad because future you already has it?
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah, I love that saying. Yeah.
And I do think, I know that they say manifestation a lot of it is about envisioning, or what do they call
Yeah,
it?
visualising.
Visualizing what you want. But I also think if you can see it with such clarity,
Yeah.
does it already exist? Like, when you can see yourself and feel yourself in it, because there are certain things that I feel myself in. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, right? It just is my future.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, then it it must happen.
Yeah.
It must exist.
Yeah.
And therefore, and then they say, act like the person you want to become. Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, that person, who was she 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, she's me right now. So what am I doing about it?
Yeah.
Like I just think there's so much power in that. And if only, I say if only, imagine if there's someone watching this who's right now at the beginning of their journey thinking, I think I might want to do UGC.
Yeah.
Start.
Yeah,
do
just
it
do it.
right now. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Don't waste a
Set up
second.
your Instagram
Even if
page.
you just do it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Just do it as a hobby. Do 1 video a month, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I started it as a
just
hobby,
start.
and now it's full time. So, just start.
yeah, I mean, obviously mine was a bit of a complex situation, but I pretty much like started full time go.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't have been 2 years ago when that happened, maybe I wouldn't have made my full time paycheck straight away.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I would know for a fact if I started now, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So it was very fortunate. It felt like the universe was like,
Yeah.
and we've got you, like
Yeah.
scoot you up. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
This is right. We're going to keep it. It really felt very strange and very like perfect. So,
Yeah.
but I don't underestimate how difficult
Yeah.
and different it would be now
Yeah.
if that situation was 2 years.
Yeah, see,
delayed.
I think, although I started 2 years ago, and I think I've said this already on this podcast, I obviously haven't just started, but I'm kind of, in my head, I'm thinking I have just started. And I know you keep telling me to stop saying that because I haven't just started. But obviously, now that I'm going into it full time, I'm doing it full time with all these other creators. And it does feel like I didn't make my mark those 2 years ago like I should have, like you did, or like others have. And I've kind of, I've been there the whole way along, but not like in everyone's faces, like I wasn't on all these brands' pages and everything like that because of like,
right, okay,
you know? So now I feel like now that I'm full time and I'm able to put everything into it and I'm able to get myself out there a bit more, I am now doing it against all these millions of other creators. So yeah, I think it's all about perspective, but it does feel to me almost as if I'm starting again, which is why I think it's a little bit daunting, because like you say, 2 years ago it was so much easier to get the work and there were so many less creators compared to now.
I've also just thought, now that we're talking about this, today is April 21st. I'm just going to check my inbox. 2 years ago, yesterday, I got my first inbound and my first paid deal.
Yeah, you did.
At 11:36 a.m. on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, I got an email.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
That
I
is
just suddenly
crazy.
thought, wasn't it April? And my website had gone live, as in my website had gone live, I think something like the 16th or something like that. And that was April 20th, so maybe 4 days in. But when you talk about like how quick a turnaround it was,
Yeah.
and how much has happened in 2 years and how much time flies and how much opportunity every day holds, that's crazy.
Yeah.
2 years ago yesterday.
Wowza. Happy 2 year anniversary since your first paid deal.
Thanks, guys.
It's a big moment.
Anyway, so I just had a little memory. Those are all of our questions.
Yeah, that's all the questions, unless you can think of any others that you think will be useful.
That is going to be a very long episode.
Yeah. Hopefully
we have
useful.
chin wagged. Oh, 100%. I loved it. But I'm just thinking now,
Yeah.
Luna's just getting under the blanket.
It was
again.
longer than we expected.
That is going to be a long episode. Definitely. Because we just ramble for ages, don't we?
Yeah.
But hopefully a good one to end the season on.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of gold
and
nuggets in
hopefully-
there to
100% for new creators and more experienced creators alike.
yeah.
And hopefully it will tide you over whilst we go away and work on season 2. We have just spent about 20 minutes, half an hour planning various bits and pieces, all of which are, it's just made me feel so much more excited and
Yeah.
more inspired for season 2. I knew
Yeah.
I was excited to go away and reset, but like I'm really excited now.
Yeah.
So hopefully you won't forget about us whilst we're gone.
Yeah.
Because we will be back and we'll be better than ever.
Yeah.
And yeah,
We're saying
we
this
are
like it's
really
going to be like a
excited
6-month break or something. It's not. We'll be back in about a month's time. give
About a month's time.
us just over a month.
Give us a breather.
Yeah.
Give us a breather.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. And I think we're going to be back your birthday week. Am I right?
Maybe if all goes to plan.
Well, your birthday's not moving.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if
no.
it's not cancelled.
True.
So there's a chance that the next time you see us, one of us will be 30.
Not saying who.
Yeah, and one of us will be crying because they're nearly 30. Woohoo! No, I'm actually really excited about it. I'm feeling very good about it.
Yeah, I am. I think all the best years are ahead, so
Oh,
I'm
I
not
agree.
dreading it at all.
I spent half of these 30 years, I spent half of them miserable. There was a chubby phase. Mental health was down the drain. Like, some bad men in that, like,
Yeah.
didn't really know who I was. It was awkward. It was awkward. Guess what? I now get to start
Yeah.
in this great place and do another 30 years in this best version of myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's exciting.
Yeah, 100% I agree.
Just
Just
let's
got
be
to
clear, there
scroll
will
that
still be
little
some
bit
mistakes made.
longer on the date of birth, but that's fine.
That is actually outrageous now. I am really having to go for it. It is ridiculous. I'm not happy about it at all. Not happy about it at all. Yeah, and I see like, oh, are you 25 to 30? 25 to 30, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, and then I think, not for long. Actually, that's I'm at the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, we will be back
Yeah.
in about a month's time with season 2, and we are so excited to have you back and to do this all over again, but bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to see who we get on as well.
I have a few ideas.
Some exciting names coming up. But yeah, well, I think that can be it from us. Thank you so much for watching our final episode of season 1. We will be back at the same time in about a month. Who knows?
And we hope you will be too.
Yeah, we hope you will be too. But yeah, that's it from us today. And we hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sending in your questions, all the support we've had on the podcast so far. It's been a real success. Maybe we're just a bit biased, but it's been a real success. And I think there
I
are
totally agree.
some
Totally
creators that do follow along each week. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed, liked, commented, followed us, everything. We're very, very grateful. And yeah, we can't wait to get back and start recording season 2. But yeah, so for one last time in this first season,
Love you, bye.